Everything I was taught in the streets taught me to be antisocial with black people. You taught not to love black people, you taught not to trust them, right?
Mm-hmm.
You were taught to look at them funny, but them same dudes, when they get around them other folks, their whole personality changed. They made up a term for it. I'm code switching. But the streets done taught you when you get around your own to be suspicious of them, to not love them, and to always see the worst in them.
What's happening? This is about the switch up, the code switch. Shout out to Mac for saying this. We have a thing where a lot of us are brainwashed to be anti-black, and it becomes an issue because we see the switch up the same way. People say they don't like let's just say black cops who get around other cops and then try to be more racist than those cops, and it's like, oh, okay, you one of them, cool, you selling out. That's the same thing with street dudes, though. You know what I'm saying? Part of that prison logic, part of that street logic, they get locked up and they get out. Yo, you know what I'm saying? The white folks, see, y'all, see, this is the problem. Y'all don't act like the white folks. The white folks are like, yeah, 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 yeah. You mean the white folks, you got yourself locked up and the white folks started beating the sense into you. And now all of a sudden, white folks the best thing on the planet, right? But when you look at other black folks, like, oh, yeah. And even when you see some of the guys on social media that that the white folks and do white folks do, see, I do the white folks be like more like the white folks. Usually, you know, it's some people who's done. They're the type of people who they've already said for themselves they've done a lot of bullshit. They've done a lot of hoe shit to black people, and the same bullshit and hoe shit that they've done to black people, they've never done it to white folks. You know, or you know, and well, I gotta say or how can I say this? They believe the hype in the sense of everything black is bad, to the point where everything black is bad in the sense of, how we do this thing where, man, the black businesses, man, they take all day, they wrong, they ran properly, and it's like, but you go to white establishments all the time that are unprofessional, but because they white folks, it never counts. Well, that's an anomaly for white folks. You done had a lot of anomalies in your life. Um, then we got to take this. I have to add into this. Um, it's the same thing where people, when people get mad, people told me that I talked white. I don't talk white. I talk. I I pronounce my words properly. I sound educated. That doesn't mean I talk white. See, the problem is you think talking black is talking ignorant. No, the problem is you can't talk in your natural voice and pronounce words for some odd reason. You can't sound educated with your normal voice. I saw the thing where um I think the lady was African or Caribbean, I forget which one. You know, I don't like my hair. My hair is supposed to be straight. And it's like, and the reason I bring it up is because um they had a guy talking to a young lady, and he says, "Look, I think it's weird." And then she was like, "Why would you think straight hair is weird?" It's like that's not your hair though. And she's like, "But it's me." And then she said, "Well." Then he responded with, "Well, if I walked up to you with straight hair like a perm, would you think I was weird?" And then she was kind of like, See, a lot of y'all sell out mentally, and a lot of time, and a lot of the time, there's this fantasy of whiteness, and you have a fantasy of blackness too, because you have this, black people are the worst, black people are the lowest of the low, black people, and it's the fantasy of we're the lowest of the low. And then you turn around, it's the fantasy of white people being the highest of the high. So you can't live in reality. You know, if there's a white person that's actually stand up, oh oh man, God anointed them. It's like, okay, if they're a white person that's a low life, well, I mean, people make mistakes. You're like, this goes all the way. If it's a black person who stand up, man, you gotta watch him though. He ain't done nothing yet, but he gonna do something. Okay. If it's the lowest of the low, see, that's how they all are. It's like, okay, right, right. And this plays out even, this part of the issue with quote unquote courts. I saw a clip, I couldn't find it, with Anquan Bolden. Anquan Bolden used to be in the NFL. He's, Hall of Fame material. Let's just say that. And he said, while he was playing, he was grown. After practice or some of the days, he would just go to the court and court watch. And he was sitting in there, and it hit him because he was watching. He was in court, and these people did the exact same, basically exact same crime. Sentence was completely different because of the color. And it was like, well, what about this and what about that and what about this? Was it his first offense? He's like, look, it was pretty much the exact same situation. The white dude got less time. The black dude got a whole lot more time. And then he said he brought Roger. I'm guessing he's saying Roger Goodell. I'm not sure though. But he's like, I brought Roger to the court too to see it. And he'll be in the court like, well, what's the difference? And I say that to say, part of that fantasy of the negativity of blackness is in our community so bad that every other community has it, which I'm gonna bring up. Like, part of their stuff is made up too. You get what I'm saying? Because people go, well, black people act bad. It's like, yeah, what y'all say acting bad is normally you're doing something that's out of pocket with somebody. And when they respond to your disrespect, it's black people act bad. But if it's the same situation and you put a white face on it, it's standing up for yourself. If it's Asian, if it's Hispanic, it's not as demonstrative, right? So, and that's the issue, and then I got to go back to the other part. One of the issues is also the streets, because the streets have too much influence on social media, because really nobody's really in the streets like that. And people are talking like in retrospect, but a lot of people in the streets are stupid, just flat out. The way they move, their attitudes, their aptitudes, they're normally stupid. To join gangs in the belief we like a family, you're stupid. You get what I'm saying? To commit crimes and act like, hey man, nothing gonna happen to me. You're stupid. You get what I'm saying? So, but because of the street life, it's like it is anti-black, like he was talking about. It's we're on this side and they're on that side, so we hate that side. So then that side turns into other black people. And conversely, what winds up happening is if you're not in that gang environment, some of those quote unquote gangsters will make you not like black people, but the street black people, because like y'all just out here messing with folks. So now when people see you coming, it's like, oh, here we go. And then that starts to trickle down into every black person that's walking down the streets. Oh, here we go. Here we go. You know. And then it's the white folks. And it's like, but y'all don't realize like white folks do a lot of janky stuff, but But when he talked about, their demeanor changes, they code switch. Like, that's one of the most disrespectful things on the planet. You a killer with black folks, but then, yes, sir, what's up, boss? How you doing, mister? It's like, oh, wait, you respect people? You got manners? And it's like, oh, you're really Steven from Django. You're really Steven from Django. And that mentality has existed for a long time. And most of the people who have this code switching ideology, they don't necessarily code switch to anything positive about black people. You know what I'm saying? And part of that negativity and the hatred is you participate in the negativity. And I never understood that, how you can participate in all the negativity and turn around, black people got a problem. No, your ass got a problem. Cause you're delusional and arrogant. You could do all this bullshit, but when somebody else black do the bullshit that you do, oh, you see how black people act? No, birds of a feather flock together. Just because they're on a different side, or is being done to you, it does not mean all of a sudden you're exempt. But I'm gonna leave it. I would rather go on, but I gotta make other videos, so I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.